Tov
Do you know?
Renana, Boker Tov, Prescott, Arizona, and Sunday greetings to everybody in between. Today, our Friends Indeed series continues with a look at Israel from a different angle, a fashion angle to be precise. We're thrilled to be joined by three experts on the topic who will share a bit about how Israel developed her image as part of its identity, as part of an insistence to be unique and striking and daring. I'm joined by three people and many of their Instagram and Facebook fans all around the world. Liraz Cohen Mordechai, but you can call her Liri, as well as Maya Negri and Ruth Gal. For everyone on this call, whether you're on Zoom or on Facebook, we want to ask you to use your chat function. First of all, just tell us where you are. Where are you viewing from around the world? And also tell us what you're wearing right now to express your own form of fashion. You know, even with all the limitations from physical distancing and everything that we're dealing with, it's still on our mind. It's what keeps us human. It's what keeps us passionate. And feel free to send us your questions for the panelists as they are playing throughout the webcast. And we'll try to get in as many as possible. We even have a couple of friends in Tel Aviv and in New York who are joining us as well for some questions live. For everyone on Facebook, most importantly, please turn on your watch party button so that other friends can join us live as well. Now, let's let the party begin. Liri, I know you are passionate about this topic and excited to just dive in and see some of the great images. I was so excited when I saw your research and the history that you've really been able to flesh out, and sharing that and lecturing on different US college campuses and sharing that in a way that is full of such pride and of such a rich, deep understanding of where Israel started from and where it is today. And we're going to talk about that, obviously, during the panel. But maybe first of all, we could just hear from everyone on the panel. If you could just share a personal greeting so we can hear your warm voices and see your smiles, and that will be how we start off. I'll start with you, Liri.
Okay, so amazing to be here with all of you from Chicago and California, Israel, Shalom. My name is Liri Liraz Cohen Mordechai, and I'm the founder of Fashionating by Liri. The company's mission is really to empower Israeli fashion brands, designers, and companies, and also to tell the story of Israel from a unique perspective, from the perspective of fashion that many people don't even know about. But we have a great fashion in Israel, and today we're going to talk about that. The company operates both in North America and in Israel. In North America, we offer lectures, workshops, and runway shows in various organizations, including museums, campuses, federations, synagogues. And then in Israel, we offer fashion and art, culture, trips, and tours. So when everything is over, come to Israel and you can see the designers yourself. We are very excited to host you, and I'm very happy to moderate this event today. Now I would like to introduce you to the two panelists of today's talk. So Maya, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Liri. First of all, thank you so much for this great opportunity. Hi, everybody. My name is Maya Negri. I'm an Israeli fashion designer. And I've started my journey 17 years ago. And today, I have 6 stores in Israel and 1 international online store that, of course, you will have a look. And actually, my main mission in life is to make women all around the world feel good about themselves. Have a look in the mirror and love themselves wearing my clothes.
And that's exactly what we're going to talk about, how you can feel comfortable with your own skin. Thank you, Maya. Ruth, the floor is yours.
Hi, so it's really great to be here today with everyone. And I loved fashion actually from the days that I served as a lieutenant in the army. And I'm a CPA by education, and I worked in KPMG in Israel. And I founded, early 2000, I founded the startup company, and I run with the startup company over 15 years all over the globe, and actually I want to say the message for me to you is actually be strong, believe in yourself, be the best version of yourself, and I have to say, don't be afraid to stand up. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So today we're going to speak about fashion and empowerment. And before we'll start our panel and ask Ruth and Maya a few questions, and you're welcome to ask questions in the chat box also, we'll start with a different kind of perspective about fashion and empowerment. I'm going to share with you my screen so you can see it yourself. Basically, when we're talking about fashion and empowerment, it's not only with great women who are dedicated to use fashion as a tool to empower everyone else, but also it's an interesting way to see if a country can not only use fashion to empower its people, but also itself. And today what we're going to do for the next couple of minutes, we're going to talk about how Israel actually empower itself and its people through fashion. So these are different ways to follow me and different pictures, but I want to start with a quote. Clothes make the man, and naked people have no influence on society. Now, the reason that I wanted to open with this quote is that oftentimes people, not you because you're here today, but people think that fashion is flat, it's superficial, and it's not that important. But they are wrong. Whether we like it or not, we're conveying a message with the clothes we wear. So it's a unique opportunity for a young country like Israel to really decide what the message will be through our fashion. And one of the first fashionistas that were already thinking about that, even before the establishment of the country, was a woman called Chemda Ben Yehuda. Maybe the name rings a bell to some of you, because she was the wife of the guy on the left, Eliezer Ben Yehuda, and she did her own contribution to the Hebrew language with the word fashion in Hebrew, ofna. But at that time, people were not only thinking about what should be our national anthem or what should our flag gonna look like. They're thinking about something very important. What should we wear? And really, what does that mean for people like Chemda, who was writing a fashion column in the Jewish magazine of the time? What kind of a message are we going to convey to the rest of the world? And how are we going to use fashion really as a tool to change or to create an image about this new coming country? So obviously, many people, when they think about Israel, they see this type of images in their head, their Sabra kind of look. And there is a message behind it, the working person, the pioneer, having a simple kind of life. But just so you know, Israel is also about haute couture, about fashion house. In fact, Maskit, the first fashion house that was established in '54, was subsidized by the government. And the story begins with the woman on the right. Her name is Ruth Gal, and she was sent by the Israeli government to go to the villages where immigrants were living and to find them jobs so they can have a job for themselves. Now, the government, when they sent her, they were sure that she will come back, and yes, and the answer will be, oh, they can do something in agriculture or in farming. Well, they were wrong. But what Ruth discovered is that many of these people are coming from the textile background, from a lot of understanding of silversmiths. So basically, she pitched the government of Israel to create and to establish a fashion house. And the woman in the middle, Fini Ladberstroff, was the creative director of Maskit at the time. And what they did was truly amazing. They empowered these people, immigrants who came to Israel, through skills they already had, but at the same time, what they did was trying to define what the essence of Israeli fashion and the DNA of Israeli fashion should be. So for example, in their melting pot of people, immigrants from different places, they took the Russian embroidery, they added the Yemen silversmiths, they really were inspired by the colors of the landscape of Israel, and they use resources from the country itself. So for example, it's buttons that are made out of olive trees. And then they had beautiful garments, so beautiful that they were well known globally. And because of that, and because of changes after the 6 Days War in 67, actually what started to happen is that everyone around the world started to adopt that understanding that, wow, Israeli fashion is at the top. To the fact that actually Israel was featured on Vogue's cover in July 69, and the entire magazine was dedicated to the country of Israel. So see how, for example, here, when the government of Israel is putting money and investing in a fashion house, not only that it empowers its people, but really branding itself as a fashion capital. Another time that the country was doing something to convey a message was in the Eurovision contest. So in 1983, the music performance of Rachaza singer, she sang in Germany. And when she sang a song called Alive, they used the Rins Frankfurt dresses. The dancer were dressing only with yellow colors, and she had a white tunic on her. And that was a really powerful symbol. The yellow color really resembled the color of the yellow star. So think about it, when these dancers are coming from Israel, Jewish, standing in Germany and saying, we're alive, we're here, we have a Jewish state, we're here to stay. So that was a very powerful message that the country was basically conveying through fashion. And then even today, when we're thinking about the brand of Israel as the startup nation, we have a lot of technology and innovation. There is also this type of startup fashion. Israel, and mainly Tel Aviv, is considered one of the 4 main capital cities of fashion, or retail and tech and fashion and tech cities in the world. That's because we have about 500 Israeli tech companies, and the 10% of the global investment in startup companies around the world was dedicated to companies coming from Israel. And when we're talking about that, the government is also promoting, exporting online platforms and really promoting new technologies to the old textile traditional industries as well. When we're talking about that, we cannot talk about it without mentioning Zikit, one of the most successful Israeli startups nowadays. They already got investments of over $20 million. Now they're one of the most wanted companies. They have a visual online fitting company. And on the right, you can see it's an article from Vogue Business that they wrote about them and how different companies now looking for this type of solutions. Designers are also using technology, and one example is Noah Raviv. Noah Raviv designed garments made out of 3D printers, and she presented them at the Metropolitan Museum in New York 2 years ago. So really you can see that by investing in the people and investing in technology, we see the results, and Israel is becoming well known as the startup nation / fashion. But also individuals can use fashion really as a tool to empower the people in the country itself. One example is Kite Pride. Kite Pride is an organization that basically upcycle kites, and the women, mainly women, work there, coming out of the prostitution circle in South Tel Aviv. So it's truly a second win for both kites and people. Another cool organization is the Desert Embroidery. These are Bedouin women who are taking the ancient crafts of embroidery and really using it to give jobs for the Bedouin women. And by the money that they have from their shops and from the workshops that they do there, and we're going there as well, is allocating for leadership programs that they offer for both the young generation and for their older women. And the first doctor of Lakia Bedouin village came from their leadership program. So it's a really cool initiative. And really, these are just few examples to see how fashion, how textile, how these all ancient crafts and tradition can be a powerful tool to really create a strong people, a strong message, and to empower people and empower the country. Now we have 2 living examples of that, Maya and Ruthie, and now we will start the conversation with them. So I hope you are all ready. So we'll start with Maya. Maya, maybe start with telling us a little bit. You're a very famous Israeli designer, but how everything started? What made you decide to become a designer?
Well, first of all, hey everybody. Of course, I'll tell you the story about how I started everything. But more than that, I'll tell you about what was the turning point that made me decide to pursue my career in fashion. So first of all, imagine, I will ask you to close your eyes and imagine a 20 years old, you're a 20 years old girl in India, traveling in India, and that girl was me. So I was sitting in a tiny phone booth in Dharamsala, and I called my parents for my weekly update, and then my mom surprised me with a crazy idea that I really didn't expect to hear, that she thinks it's about time that I return to Israel to study. So first I was totally shocked because I had no plans to return. I wanted to have fun, to continue having fun. So I asked her, Mother, do you have any idea of what I should study? And as always, she immediately has the answer and she said, yes, I think you should come and study fashion in Shankar. Shankar is the leading fashion college in Israel. So I was shocked again, because I totally had no background in fashion. I came from the sport. I was a junior Israeli high jump champion and actually had no idea of fashion. So a week later, surprisingly or not, my eye caught a group of gypsy women laying down, sitting like on a filthy floor on cartons on the floor, but they were embroidering the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my life. It's called chioli. It's made of small mirrors. They were embroidering it with amazing, colorful mixing with Indian motifs. And I couldn't take my eyes out of it. And guess what? By the next day, I joined them for a whole week, sitting on the filthy floor and creating together, we were creating together the most beautiful collection, which was also the reason why I got accepted to Shankar. So two main milestones I've learned from this story. First of all, which is most important, always listen to your mom. And the second one is whatever needs to happen will happen, only if you make it happen.
Amazing, amazing. Now, Maya, you mentioned that you're really coming from a non-traditional background for becoming a designer. You didn't know how to draw, you didn't know how to make sketches or anything. Can you maybe walk us through the first years of you as a designer? Was it a big success already from the beginning? How was it?
Actually, it was a big success. A week after the beginning, I'll tell you all about it. But the first step, okay, my first experience of the fashion world was when I started studying in Shankar. Here you see my my collection from the last collection. But the beginning wasn't easy at all. I mean, because as I told you, I came from sports. But during my studies, I just fell in love with fashion and everything about it. So I took every opportunity that came in my way to learn, to develop myself. I understood that I had no chance but becoming a top student in order to get an influence internship out of Israel. After all, we're a small country and every opportunity to go out and learn, it's a huge opportunity for us. And I did, I was chosen to do my internship in New York City at Eli Tahari's studio. And it was a dream come true, which gave me a great work experience and actually helped me formulate my vision for my own label. And then, and actually I had another huge opportunity during school that was an important milestone in the beginning of my career, and it was the fact that I was selected to participate in the prestigious Diesel Design Award. It's a competition, it's a dream, it's really a dream of every student from all of the over the world, and we were only 24. It was in Italy, and we were only 24 finalists from all around the world to reach the end. And it gave me, it was, this opportunity was so meaningful, beyond building my confidence or my ego. Actually, I learned to trust my way, okay? Because I had difficult, school wasn't easy for me, but that opportunity gave me, you know, like Maka al Katef, in Hebrew you say, like, that I'm on the path, on the right path. And 2 months after, I've opened my first studio with a store. It was together in a pastoralic village in Rishpon. It's out of town. And it was such a tiny space with a huge, huge spirit. And I can never forget my first fashion show. It was really a dream, out in the garden with huge umbrellas and many models that they were dancing and they were smiling, which make me think why these days we ask our model not to smile. You know, I wonder a lot, what does it say about fashion today or about the industry? And I think the next catalog, I'm gonna ask them to smile a lot because that's the best. And at the end of this show, every item was sold. I mean, not in my wildest dream, I did expect such a reaction. Like, all women just entered this tiny, tiny studio, and I had no fitting room. I had no machine to get the money. And so I didn't get the money, I just wrote their names and the phone numbers. But there was, I think that day there was nobody in the world happier than me. So I've realized that the collection is a big success, and you know, it was my first step, and it was so fast, and I knew that I needed to take another step further. And like all the top designers, I decided to take a PR office to help myself market my line. And within 2 weeks, you were asking me if it was amazing, if it was quick, my success. So within 2 weeks, my designs were featured on all covers in Israel Fashion Magazine. And actually the rest was history. It wasn't easy. I really had tons of moments where I really, really wanted to die. I was so young, I was 26. But when you have this success, and parallel to the hard time, I always wanted to, I couldn't stop. I mean, I continued, and today I'm so satisfied with my career and with my clients. And as I said,
for everyone here who listen, I don't know if you get the idea of what Maya is saying, but actually to start from not knowing how to design, to be one of the most successful stories of Shinkar, to decide to build your brand, not in Tel Aviv, but in a small city-like village, and then to be all over magazines, is just amazing. And it shows how you believe in yourself and you moving with that. Thank you so much. Ruth, I want to go to you, and I want to ask you a little bit about your beginning, because you're a professional stylist, but you had a side of an entrepreneur in you way before that, and more in the beauty area. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the beginning of your story.
The journey. So as I told you, I'm a CPA by education. So one night I surfed the net and I look for beauty and fashion websites only to see what is the latest trends, because fashion was always something that I love, and I like the fashion and styling. And I saw that all the websites look like catalog. So I couldn't have the ability to see. I saw only the products, I saw a palette of colors, but how can I choose the right color for me? It was very difficult. And I said, okay, if it's difficult for me. It's supposed to be difficult for million women all over the world. And in that moment, when I understood that there is here a huge potential, online potential, something that is missing, and I'm talking about early 2000s, so it was very, very early before cellular phones even came to the world. So I began with the startup together with a co-founder that actually I audited one of his companies when I worked in KPMG, and together we built a startup and a application, a very state-of-the-art application, a innovative one, and we run all over the world, from the Far East, China, Japan, to Europe, to the US. And we deal with the brands, the biggest brands, L'Oreal, Maybelline, Estee Lauder, and Sephora, and others. And also what we did, so we did also a unit, and the unit together with IBM, global IBM from the state, we went to Walgreens and Walmart and Duane Reade and Carrefour, Galeries Lafayette, etc. So we traveled around the world, and I have to say that I met so many powerful women, executive women, and I think that something that I realized that it's so important, the way we dress, because the way we dress and the way we feel, it's something that something that other can see, and this is something that I understood immediately, got it, and I really, my mission today is actually to bring all my knowledge, to bring all my experience and all my inspiration through all the years, meeting celeb like Jennifer Lopez and others, and very strong women. And I took all the knowledge, and today I bring it to my client, because I want them to achieve a great impact. And to
sorry to interrupt. Before we'll get to your clients, I want to ask you, your startup, when was it? That was really ahead of its time, correct?
Absolutely.
That was?
It was early 2000.
That's
and it was really way back. And
yes. So you were a true entrepreneur right from the beginning.
Absolutely. So it was very innovative.
Now let's jump back to Maya. Maya, you told us a little bit about, you were very brave when you believed in yourself, and you truly, it seems that you have a lot of self-confidence, right? And your brand is also very unique with that essence. Can you tell us a little bit more about your brand, Maya Negri, and what is kind of the message and what type of women are part of it?
Of course, there is not only a message, there is a secret. The brand has a secret, and I'll tell you the secret today. The secret is actually the combination of it being contemporary and timeless, together with my expertise in women body proportions. I mean, you cannot see me now, who is watching, because I'm sitting and we're Zooming, if we can call it like that. But I'm a very tall woman. I'm 6 feet tall, 1.83 meters. I think that this is what made me so sensitive for body proportions. So the combination of producing flattering styles for all shapes and sizes give me advantage even over popular lines that we all know. So I can tell you that every style is carefully thought out. I have like each size done by hand. And I have a model, a small size model, and I have a large plus size model. That's because I do not believe that you can press the button and have, you know, the size develop like a machine. We're not robots, we're human beings. So, and I find beauty in every and each woman, and I really am so, I feel so grateful for working with women. So this, sorry.
So if you're revealing secrets, we have a question came from Celia about where you actually manufacture your clotheslines.
Okay, so hey Celia, thank you for sending me a message. So right now, actually, I'm sitting in my studio at my room. Alone, because it's quite late, and actually for a matter of a truth, you know, since we had the COVID-19, my people, my staff are still waiting for us to come back as a team, so I'm here by myself. We produce here, and that's a thing I'm not used to, and I'm here. We create here the first item here, just right here with this fitting doll next to me, and in my room, and then it moves to the pattern maker, and that's the woman who takes my sketches and my ideas, and she just makes a magic, and she diverts it into 3 dimension, and then it moves to the seamstress, and then come back here to my room to fit to the fitting room. And from here we produce half of our staff here in Israel, in Jerusalem, and part of them with our amazing friends from east of Jerusalem, Mizrach Yerushalayim, if I'm not wrong. And the rest is in Italy. We have an amazing factory that creates all the knitwear in Italy, seamless knitwears. So that's my answer for you. If you have any more questions, I'm here for you.
Well, there are people. Sigal wrote in that she's been receiving gifts every time a relative returns. They bring gifts from your shop. So you have quite a following, and I think people are really inspired by both of the stories. Liri, we actually have someone, Rebecca, wrote in saying that she remembers modeling as a soldier, some of the very designs that you showed during your presentation. So,
hi, Rebecca. This is so much fun.
Of all the webinars that we've done, we have people that have written in and sent brachot from all over the world. This is definitely the most international call we have, and people from all over, from Modi'in to Rehavia. We have people from all over Israel that have called in. So, Liri, I'm going to turn back to you. But,
yes, sure.
I think we're going to hear lots of interesting questions throughout the course of the webinar.
Thank you, Rebecca. Yes, our runway shows, the way that we do it about Israeli fashion, we use real people to be the model. So I guess Rebecca was one of them. Text me on Instagram after. But Maya, back to you. So your brand is very iconic, it's timeless, and it seems that kind of your persona is what your customers are as well. It's either they choose it because they are also very powerful women who believe in themselves, or because of the way that you talked about the proportions and all of these things, your clothes really make them feel comfortable in their own skin, and you literally empower them with clothes. So my question for you is, your ability to dream and to create is really an example of the message that you're also conveying to your customers. Do you remember when it started? Do you remember when you first realized that that's you're a powerful woman, or that's what you want to be?
Of course, and I have a beautiful, beautiful story. But before that, just because I didn't say any word about my customer, but my customers are really my inspiration for my work. I mean, actually, we have also from the United States, and I will tell you who. But I'm twice a week when my head is booming, because I'm also the CEO of this brand and also the creative director. I'm going to my stores to get to get inspired out of my customers. They are real women, and they know what they want. And I respect that. They tell me exactly what they need, and they know that I will go back to my studio, and the next collection will be like that. They will be in my thoughts. And also in the US, by the way, we have loyal clients, including among those actresses like Claire Dance, who I guess you all know from Homeland. And she even a recommendation she gave us a recommendation in a New York Times interview. And also the female astronaut, Catherine Coleman, if she's watching, hello. It was such a pleasure meeting you. But the very best example of my wonderful customer is actually, and as an inspiration customer, is Ruby Shamir. She's the manager of the American Israel Friends League. And thanks to her, I'm here with you. Now so thank you so much, Ruby. Liri, you were asking me.
I want to say something, Maya, I want to say something to you, because yes. I can say that I'm also a tall woman, and I really understand what you are talking about the proportion, about fit in the right way, the body shape, and it's so important. It's like in styling. It's very, very important, and it's really empowerment the women. And for me, I like very much a very one piece that I have overall, that it's really black, beautiful overall. So I really, really love it, and I'm getting a lot of
you two should collaborate. Maybe you can be a stylist in my stores.
Yeah, it will be great.
We talked a lot about your designs, Maya. I want to show a quick video of a runway show from your previous last collection, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, it would be my pleasure, and then I will tell you what was my vision as
It's amazing.
You all. I just want to tell you so much, but I can't. We have no time for all of that. But each collection.
Maya, and I want also to tell you that I'm taking my client to your stores, and they like very much the clothes because I'm talking about mainly business women. So we love your store, and it's really.
So Ruthie, this is a good segue to you. So maybe you can tell us a little bit, because you started just by telling us a little bit about your startup, your beauty entrepreneurship, but actually now you're a professional stylist. Maybe you can tell us a little bit what made you do the shift, and if there were, you told me about an interesting experience that you had while you were in the startup that made you realize why styling is so important. Can you share it with everyone?
I would love to, because I think it's so powerful. And I want you, all of you, to come with me to Fifth Avenue. We are walking on Fifth Avenue, and we are going to 58th floor to Estee Lauder VIP floor in order to meet Mr. Langhammer, the CEO of Estee Lauder. It was one of the first meetings that we did in the state, and I came very excited to that meeting, and we opened the doors, and I saw a beautiful, beautiful view of the Central Park, and the wall was white and shine. The floor was shine and again white. Everything was clean, and it was really a very nice and amazing place. And I waited for the meeting, and I think that the meeting is with the CEO of the group. So we are talking about $20 billion revenue per year. And when I sit there and waited for the meeting, I saw all the women that was in the office wearing three-piece skirt suit, and they have the makeup done properly. The hair was perfect, and stiletto heels. And I look around, and I look at myself, and I came with a black jacket, black pants, and a white button dress, and I felt like something is wrong here. I am looking like more than the people here. And this moment, in that moment, I felt really, you know, all the self-esteem went down, self-confident, and we are getting to the meeting. I'm getting to the meeting, and all I'm thinking during the meeting, what they are thinking about me, what they are thinking about how I look, and it was absurd because I'm coming and I want really to show them innovation, technology, fashion, beauty, and I felt that I don't walk the talk. So I felt really awful. We came back to Israel. Needless to say, we didn't get the deal, and it was very, very hated. But 3 months later, we got an invitation from L'Oreal Group. Now we came back to Manhattan, to Madison, and we met with people in L'Oreal Group. Again, 15th company, it's a very huge group. And now I came ready. I was ready with new suit. I was ready with, I remember it vividly. It was silk dress, peach silk dress that I felt so good in it. And we entered to the meeting. I felt like $1 million, and I explained them why, what is the benefit of our technology, why it's so unique and we need it for their customers. And guess what?
You got the deal.
Yep, we got a deal. So really, the message here is that I understood that clothes reflect our feeling, reflect our inner voice, reflect what we think about ourselves, and in that manner, it really impacts our achievement and our ability to succeed in business as well in real life. So actually, I have to say that my mission today is really to give all the inspiration, all the things that I learned through the years, and to bring it today to and in order to achieve impact, a great impact for themselves, in order to feel good, in order to be able to succeed in business, but also in real life, in personal life.
Ruthie, I think it's a really interesting story because what you're saying is that even for the first meeting when you came, it's not that you came with the clothes that were not fit in the way that the protocol says. Like, you had a nice suit, you were dressed okay for a meeting, but at the same time there was something in the styling that made you feel uncomfortable. There was something there in the unspoken language among the beauty industry that maybe you couldn't tell it in the first meeting, and then you saw it in the second one. And that's what you're actually doing with your customers today, when you're helping them build their confidence through fashion. Maybe now, with everyone here who is listening, maybe you can share with us a few tips about styling and what we can do starting from tomorrow's morning or even from today.
So, from my point of view, I really love my client, and I really looking forward, by the way, to meet with them again after COVID-19, and it almost, by the way, it almost happened. I saw a slide about workshops that I'm doing and lecture in Israel. So one of the workshops is going to be this month, May 27 will be the first workshop that I'm coming back after the Corona, so I'm really excited. And the tips for me is that there is there is opportunities in life that we need to be ready for those opportunities. And ready, from my point of view, is really, there is no second chance for first impression. So from my point of view, you need to be ready for any opportunity, and you need to be always the best version of yourself in order to catch the opportunity in the right time. So this is the first thing. The second thing, from my point of view, you don't have to be rich in order to be. Wait a minute. Okay, in order to be in a good style, because you can wear things that will fit you, that will fit you believe, that will fit your values, and of course believe really be fitted to your body shape and the colors, and all of those together, when it's playing together in harmony, this is the best way, from my point of view, for styling. So I want to tell you 3 things. 1, the bra is very important for women, and because we need that the breast will be in the right position, it's really help to see all the outfit in the right way. Second, the shoes. The shoes need to be polished, because when it's polished, it's much better than it's look, not so polished. So pay attention to the shoes. And the last tip for me, less is more, from my point of view. So when you want to put a lot of jewelry on you, remember, less is more is always a good suggestion for you.
So,
and the last thing from my point of view,
Ruth, when we're talking about less is more, that was kind of like the fashion trend of the days of the kibbutz. The sexy look was the makeup, without any accessories, without any of these things. We have one question here asking for a photo of before and after. We will try to show you one image of Ruth's styling from before and after. But I just want to bring it over back to Maya for one last question about a childhood memory of you that really showed you the way of being empowered by yourself and empowering others. Can you share with us that, Maya?
Of course, because one of my first memories is me being 6 years old, wearing my mother's high heels and holding my father's James Bond suitcase while I'm marching into the living room and saying out loud, I want to be a businesswoman. That's what I wanted to be. That's, every Purim, that's what I wanted to be. And actually, what I realized that my dream was to become an independent woman. And today, as an independent woman, I also teach and train children aged 6 to 10 years old how to reach true success in life and get goals as a part of an Israeli coaching method, Success by Alon Ullman. And that's my second hat. And because I really believe that whatever when you have a dream, you have to work hard, but you can have it, you can reach and get it.
Well, that's also a great note, Maya, to bring in. We have two special guests with us today. Shir, who was not, as far as I know, didn't jump over hurdles in her high school, but she did participate in high school on the Youth Ambassador Student Exchange Program that America-Israel Friendship League runs, and she's now at your alma mater. So, Shira, what kind of hurdles have you had to run over, and what would you ask to Maya, given the opportunity?
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Shira Minigas. I'm a fashion designer student in Shankar. And I have a question about those days. How do you think that the coronavirus will influence the fashion? How the fashion will look like after the coronavirus?
So this question intended to who? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
For you, Maya.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But actually, maybe everyone on the panel, I think, might have some comments on this.
Actually, that's a beautiful question. I'll tell you why. First of all of us, me as an owner of a brand, I asked myself this exact question, and I still don't have the absolute answer, because I think we're still in in this COVID-19 situation. We finished one chapter, and now we have to rebuild ourselves. I believe that at the beginning, at first, when it just started, when we were sitting at home and we didn't move, so we said, okay, now we'll go back to those days when we didn't need anything and we just eat with our family. No, I don't think these days. I think these days are over. But I totally believe that first, all the digital world tech is gonna progress also in fashion. And I think that women and men will always have the need to feel good with themselves. And but they have to, as Ruti said, less is more. I mean, you have to know yourself, to precise what you're buying, not to be a victim. A fashion victim now is out. When I see fashion victims, actually in my heart, when I see it from, the Instagram and all the, the media, the social media, in a way, I said, wow, it's so much work, but it's like an eder. How do you say it? Like,
Heard.
yeah. So you have to find your own style. And when you find your own style, and you can create it, and you can develop it, as I did. I didn't have any idea in fashion. I developed it. I learned about the Japanese styles. I learned about the Belgium, the 6 Belgium. I mean, I've learned it. You can learn anything. But the moment you reach your style and your handprint, stick to that. That is a lot more powerful than, looking around and searching what is the next trend. And it shows a power also as a woman, also as a man, and also as a designer. So that's what my answer for you.
Thanks.
And I can add that it's. I believe that it will change. Something will change, and I have to say that I feel that it will be really a new dawn from my point of view. So we will be able to, to be very, very personalized, I assume, like Maya said. I agree. And all the things that from China, the one that is really coming and going very, very fast, will be less important, and people will pay attention to what they buy and will try to buy the best fit for their body shape.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Liri, last word.
Yes, I have a full presentation about it. You can find it on YouTube. The future of fashion, just Google it. But just if I can sum up after reading researches and reports, basically one thing that will be important for designers, and you're a designer, is to collaborate with other designers and with scientists and with doctors to create the best popular accessory of the future, the mask, the face mask. So if we can all together make it that it's not only in style, but it's also efficient, that would be amazing. The other thing that we'll see, and just echoing Ruth and Maya, is no collections, no seasons anymore, but just more iconic items, because designers cannot be dependent on shipping anymore from elsewhere. They will do more locally, and they will do products that will fit every season in order not to be stuck with inventory. That's my...
I love your answer. It gave me a lot of inspiration.
And the truth is, we're still in it, right? I mean, we don't know exactly what it's going to look like after or how long. I can say, to your point earlier, Maya, that at American Israel Friendship League, we get to look at Ruby Shamir on our Zoom every day, and there is an example of a very fashionable Israeli woman who's taught us a lot about making sure that we look presentable on our Zoom calls. Probably an issue that everybody has had to confront in one form or another. So we're thankful to her wearing your designs. We're thankful to Ruth for giving women some tips on styling, and for Liri for really you came to us with your own sense of the importance of this industry as an industry, and why it's so important to the state of Israel, and why Israel has so much to share with the rest of the world. So thanks everybody for helping put this together. One of the things that we try to do at Israel America Friendship League is to recognize that during this period, we need to do something to give back to people who are struggling. And so we've built a community building effort like this as part of our Friends in Deeds campaign. And we also recognize that there are others struggling. So today we are announcing our 7th $500 donation of Israeli food and treats to vulnerable communities on the front line and the medical staff that are battling COVID-19 right now. This week's recipient of our donation is the medical personnel at Ohio University's regional campuses, which include the frontline personnel at Obelness Hospital in Athens, Ohio. You know, you are all heroes in our eyes, and we thank you for your service and hope that you like Bisley and Bamba and everything that is going to arrive in the package that was lovingly prepared by the Barsadef family. Each week, we're asking our friends and partners in the community to help us identify other medical personnel who might appreciate a boost and support from Israel. And on your screen you saw before are the various addresses you can submit a nomination. I know there were a number of questions before about how to see more designs and more tips from the panelists today, and we will be providing that to everyone on our social media that was listed as well, but also in subsequent correspondence that we'll have with you, which will include a link to this video. So if you want to share it with others who weren't able to watch in real time, we'll have that for you. One program announcement for the coming week. We're excited this week to have 2 programs to share. As early as this Wednesday, we have a virtual tour of 2 Tel Aviv Art Museum gems, the Reuven Rubin Museum and the Nahum Gutman Museums. Both will be guided by their curator directors. And this coming Sunday, for those of you that were with us when we did the virtual tour of Caesarea, well, what's coming next is a virtual tour of Jerusalem. In honor of Jerusalem Day, Reuven Solomon will be back with us for a very special tour guide. For some of you, it'll be over Jerusalem Day weekend. For others, it may be over Memorial Day. Either one, it'll be a great opportunity to, from your home, experience just the miracle of Jerusalem today. On behalf of our team at the American Israel Friendship League, have a safe and fashionable week. Shavuot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks.